I'm Chelsea Durden, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
You did it.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's
I'm gonna go sit
Wrestling
down.
with
Sit.
Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, bigger than Gigi and the latest stories from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and
Sit down. I'm gonna
everything
get you a towel. Or
screen every Saturday and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox. The only live or the only what's it called now? Audio experience on the web today. Sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James Shea, alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Coleco Yachts.
man, do I got a story for y'all?
And the American Scooter Dust.
It wasn't a pimple or a boil, it was a gummy bear.
And it was a good week for Wrestling with us. Last week on the show, we interviewed Chelsea Durden, and we solved that age-old question: who did Bret Hart ever beat? And we got to find out what classes her cats are in, and lots and lots of more. Definitely an interesting interview that you should definitely go watch in the archives, and obviously support Chelsea as well. This upcoming Wednesday, we got this up this upcoming Wednesday, we got Devlin Macabre, and you should definitely listen to that one as well. And here's a little taste of that. I'll give you now. And it seems like there is a match between you and Riley in the future, no?
Um, I don't know if there's a match between her and I in the future, but I don't hate her that much. I don't hate her enough for me to put her through the pain I would normally put an opponent through. But, you know, um, yes, there was a miscommunication. I don't know if she realizes that you're not supposed to drop kick your partner in the face. I don't know if I don't know like what type of training she does. I don't know if they tell her you're supposed to do that or not. But I mean, for where I'm from, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
So the match literally went downhill for us when that happened.
Right. And the week after that, we got Jocelyn LaVale on the show. And just some more wrestling with news. The Wrestling with Entertainment, Wrestling with Mania Madness tournament has concluded. And me and Kaliko have tied.
Rigged!
Yeah, only because you lost, Scooter, in the first round.
This whole tournament was rigged. It was absolutely rigged. We're gonna have to have another tournament. We're gonna have to have another election. And I'm gonna have to, smack Melania and whatnot, but fuck it.
We will have another tournament for SummerSlam, hopefully. Uh, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Drew for being a part of the tournament and participating. He's coming closer every single year. Now you're probably wondering, what does a draw mean? It means that both matches are going in the Hall of Fame and both matches have won. We will probably do a coin toss to see what match will watch second, but other than that, yeah, we will be watching the Triangle Ladder match from WrestleMania 2000 and Charlotte, Becky, and um, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha from WrestleMania 32 as well.
Which was my pick last year, so technically, vicariously, I also win.
Whatever makes you sleep at night, buddy.
I did it for Scooter.
I, I haven't slept in 6 days.
now that we're done putting ourselves over, it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with Storytime with Coleco. Coleco, do you want to tell us about your WrestleMania escapades?
Just quickly before, listeners, get yourselves a tasty adult beverage and buckle in because you are not going to want to miss any of this.
And maybe a box of popcorn as well.
Alright, I'm going to preface all of this with parental discretion is advised. Alright, so we're going to, overall, I would say Dallas is a great city, but the problem is everything closes after midnight. Most of the time, you either have to go out the city or through the city. Now, there have been some people who may or may not been a strip club with Michael Irvin, and everybody's trying to get him an autograph where he just wanted a lap dance. But that's beside the point. We're going to talk about how I snuck into the famous WaleMania and got into VIP with the wrestlers. Actually, it all started. I wasn't gonna even go to WaleMania because usually those things tend to be a clusterfuck, and yeah, this one I went to was indeed a clusterfuck. Okay, so let's preface it with that. But I also had my brother who was working the event. He jumped on last minute to work like security, and his job actually was a pretty good gig because he was the guy to get people to the stage, to get wrestlers to the stage. So he would get Omos to the stage, Jade Cargill to the stage, the Prophets to the stage, and so on and so forth, right?
Oh, did we lose Coleco?
To be continued.
Just when this was getting interesting.
Oh no, we are not gone yet, my man. So my brother's working that little gig. Now, I'll sit outside
Oh, and we lost
and
Coleco.
chill and wait, and he can. No, you didn't. I'm right here. Tell me.
Yes, we're here. Okay,
There we go.
there you go.
All right. All right. So where did y'all last hear off?
Getting to the stage,
Getting people
and taking
on
them
and off the stage.
So that was his thing. That was his gig, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna sit in the car or go to a bar, have a couple beers, and chill, whatever, right? But then I ran into some good old friends of mine who said, "Oh yeah, we're going to WrestleMania." I'm like, "Cool, I'll go to WrestleMania. Fuck it, you're going, I'm going. My brother works there. We could go in there, do whatever, right?" So we get there. We get there. They give you the wristbands, right? So the problem was they gave me the wristbands before you got in with the ticket. So the problem was we couldn't get in because they were like, "You need a ticket, blah 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 blah," whatever the case may be. Now this is where the story gets interesting because as we walk to the back, you see security sitting there, right? They're arguing with any and everybody. You got to get in with a green badge or a green wristband, or you cannot go in the club. So you see JTG and all these rappers who's supposed to perform at the club starting fights with the people in the back. Literally starting fights with people in the back about trying to get in because they're on the performer. They're slated to perform, right? So I'm thinking, well, what the hell? How the hell is that all fucked up? Because it's WrestleMania, and when it's WrestleMania, everything is all fucked up. Not telling the wrestlers that they're supposed to go through the loading dock, which is a whole nother issue. But this is where your boy gets in. So in between at the back, which happens to be the House of Blues, there were two doors, and both were secured by security, right? But there was a third door that was unlocked, and no one even cared to bother to guard the door. So we tried to open the door, but we couldn't open it from the outside, but we needed a tool. My friend happened to have a beer can opener, Stone Cold Steve Austin bottle can opener. Shout out Stone Cold Steve Austin. So he jimmy rigs it to the point where he got his foot in the door. Gets his foot in the door. Gets the door open. The moment he opened that door, I shot through that door like, what was that wrestler name that fell through the goddamn wall?
Shockmaster.
Shockmaster. I shockmastered my ass through that door so goddamn hard. So we go, boom. All right. So now we're walking through the backstage, right? We're walking literally backstage. Everybody's looking at us like, who the fuck are these? This dude and these Australian cat and this Canadian walking in through the goddamn bar, right? So we get to the point where someone stops us. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on stage. I just tell them, hey, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. This is for people that only get on stage. So I tell them, oh no, security let me in. I'm just going to close my tab with me and my lads. To which he says, oh yeah, let me take you through the front entrance. So we go through the front entrance where this dude who wouldn't let us in the first time, he literally saw us as we were walking in the club downstairs to the floor, right? So we're at the floor, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, whatever. But I see my brother bringing up the Street Profits, which is where you see them doing all their performances and stuff, and Omos and everybody else. So I'm like, oh, I text them. So I send him a text. Yo, we here. Get us backstage. So we get there. This is the fun part. So once again, another old security dude is arguing with another guy about getting backstage. All the time, he wouldn't let us backstage. But I see a photographer hop off the stage and go through another door. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go through the other door. So we went through the other door. Right when we went through the other door, boom, I see my brother, right? We walked back behind the stage. We're literally at the curtain to where I could open it. And I see Wale, and he's got like the baddest bitches on the planet out there. And so I'm like, fuck it. All right, we got to keep going. So we get to the point where we are in VIP with wrestlers. So I'm talking Shane Taylor, Nash Carter, Wesley, all of them. LA Knight. Man, he had a battle. Yep, way before the allegations came out. Gigi Dolan. It was a who's who. It was a who's who of who was out there on the wrestling scene, right? So, we get to VIP. Oh yeah, MVP was there. Hit Row was there. It was just the baddest time. So it's a cluster at VIP, and we're sitting there talking with them, chit chat, whatever the case may be. Nash Carter may or may not be with Gigi Dolan, because I've never seen a dude sit in the bathroom. You know how when you go to the club and there's that one dude sitting outside while she goes to the ladies' room?
Yeah. What was he inside the ladies' room with her?
You're only doing that one or two reasons. That's either your best gay friend or you smashing her, right? So
in a movie called The Nash Smash.
Nash Smash. So in this case, we sitting up there. I'm buying MVP drinks. Everybody's trying to flip flop, and it's ghetto as hell because it's Wale and he's playing all bacon bit songs and shit. But it gets to the point where we see Gigi, right, and Gigi is sitting there, and she walks out with these shoes, and I'm like, and my homeboy was like, yeah, where'd you get the shoes from? Quote, I had to suck dick for the shoes. I was like, whoa. little too wild for my taste here. All right, so
I just have to. Do you think she was implying that she just sucked said dick, or it was like a general something that happened, yeah, days ago?
It had to been that night because everybody was getting shoes that night, right? So, because at the time, Wale was also releasing shoes and shirts, and because he did a thing with Reebok where they were doing the whole
Yes,
clothing line thing.
the famous Reebok Air Force cocksuckers.
So I walk by LA Knight, bad. He's chilling. He brings a bad chick. I'm like, damn, I didn't think I expect LA Knight to be at a hip hop concert. Then I see Cameron Grimes' country ass in there. And the first thing I see him, I take a picture and I yell, "We going to the moon!" You motherfucking right. So I'm sitting up there in wrestling heaven, Cedric Alexander and that bitch, Jade Cargill. Everybody was kind of gushing over Jade because I guess she looks better in person than what the TV goes. So I tend to believe that. Omos out here rapping the fucking Jay-Z. And you hear him, he's busting out a freestyle rapping, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hove. And I'm like, holy shit. And think of him in his voice. Hello, me. Sound like the Kimé Matumbo out there singing, right?
No.
Yes, exactly. So it gets to the point where I've been sitting up there rapitating with all these wrestlers, and it's time to go. So I'm looking for my brother. Come to find out, my man then came up. He comes to me. He's like, "Yo, let's go." And I'm like, "Where we going?" So we leave, and all of a sudden, I see shoes. I see Reeboks. Snatch me a pair. Snatch me a Sasha Banks shirt. Snatch me a throwback China shirt, and we made off like bandits, son. My brother was bougie and he took the chips. I don't know why he would take a bag of Tostitos from the catering section at WaleMania.
But I was hungry, obviously.
I'm hungry, man.
So, yeah, that's how that went. And I must say, it was an interesting experience. Other things that could happen that I have to say that happened off air, but that we could go over off air. But I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can. And that sucking dick for Reeboks thing kind of got as far as I'm going to get on. But yeah, and it was crazy. It's funny because that was like a couple days before the Nash incident happened, and he seemed like a cool kid, and it was all along. And he seemed okay. Cameron was okay. It's just like normal people at the club, just chilling. And that's the end of story time with Cody.
That's obviously this.
What about me? You didn't take me a bath. Hey!
I just said that you were in front of Gigi Dolan and didn't ask her the Darby Allin question.
Well, it was more of the fact that I think everybody was kind of messing with her in a sense, because it's Gigi, so she's kind of like the it girl now, so everybody's kind of on her whatever, and I was just like, ah.
I mean, is she really the it girl? I mean, she's the next to the it girl.
Well, when you look at it from the standpoint of most people were with Jade.
Then doesn't that make Jade the it girl?
I mean, she was at that concert, but keep in mind, population predominantly black.
Fair enough. Alright.
Either way, I love pretty chicks.
Great story. Some dirt that we probably didn't know and that maybe we should know. So, great story, Coleco. Thank you. Okay. Obviously, we lost Coleco once again.
No, we haven't got to the point where I got the mania and got a chair again. We got so much stuff.
Alright,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0 calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue energy, more focus, more win.
Use promo code WrestlingWithe for 10% off your next purchase. Let's get into some wrestling news. I think the biggest story out of this week was WWE doing a UK stadium show for the first time in 30 years. Scooter, your thoughts?
I mean, it has been quite some time since since that SummerSlam '92, uh, Wembley Stadium. Is it a wise thing to do though? To attempt a stadium show in well, has it been made official that it's going to be Wembley again?
No, it's going to be in Wales.
Oh, that's right, Wales. So yes, so I take that back. Cardiff. That's right. It's going to be in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And originally, the first Wales event was supposed to be a takeover before before COVID. And I believe this is the first big league wrestling event for Wales.
I believe so too. Well, Wales isn't technically a part of England?
Wales is technically part of the UK. Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like the relationship between Scotland and England.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me make sure of my geography just in case. Yes, it is a country of the United. Yes. And that's Wales, not Wales.
Yes.
But this is
Shout out to Wale for giving me them shoes up.
for a country that doesn't have vowels in a lot of their city names. I mean, the pre-registration is, I think, already at capacity. Because this is such a landmark event.
Right, because WWE, I mean, they're lucky to get 2 Raws or SmackDowns within a year. That are usually not subsequential to anything that's going on in WWE at that time. And now they're having a stadium show, which is definitely going to be something, and obviously, storyline wise.
Now, just for reference here, uh, 59,000 people at least have just registered for an attempt to buy a ticket. Not even registered to pay for a ticket. An attempt to get a ticket. And the stadium's capacity is just under 74,000.
So it appears that they're going to sell that out, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, I absolutely believe so. Given that this stadium also, it's not the sections of the stadium are not really separate. So everybody is, you know, on the same level unless you've got one of the 100 hospitality suites. So not only is this going to be a groundbreaking event for Wales and the WWE Pro Wrestling, but it's going to come across looking really good when it airs.
Hmm. What are your thoughts on the first stadium show in the UK in 30 years, Coleco?
I mean, it's overdue. Because think about it, a generation has went through without having that show, right?
Right.
Like that's why it's such a big deal. Because I mean, the last time I could make an argument, the last time they had a show was the last time the Cowboys were irrelevant. Uh, um, but it's good for them, and it also is kind of like a payback because a lot of those cats, and you could tell like the night after WrestleMania fell flat because a lot of those cats weren't really able to get their visas in time to travel and so on and so forth. So I think it could have been logistically there, and I think that energy is missing. And 59 to 70,000 people who, and that's just people who probably are residents. You're not even including the people that are probably going to go because it's a huge show. My only problem is that logistics wise, in 3 weeks in a month, they're going to go to Vegas, Nashville, and then Wales. That's all. That's a lot.
But Nashville
But
isn't in a stadium, correct? It's just in a normal arena.
who?
Nashville's
No,
SummerSlam.
Nashville SummerSlam. It's at the Nissan Arena. It's where the Titans play. So they're going to be at Allegiant Stadium for Money in the Bank. SummerSlam is at the end of the month. 4th of July weekend, they're in Vegas
Money in the Bank.
for Money in the Bank. Then at the end of the month, they're going to be that month. They're in Nissan Stadium for SummerSlam, and then a couple weeks later, they are in Wales.
That's a pretty tall order. And
That is a just
usually,
traveling. That's crazy, and just building stages. That's fucking nuts. But I mean, fuck
usually
it,
the
go for
next
it.
one is the big preview after or special opinion live event after a SummerSlam or Mania are usually the throwaways.
Yeah. So the fact that they did a throwaway, we don't know the name of the pay per view. We just know it's gonna be there. But the fact that, and I think that's considering that might be the first show other than the Saudi Arabia show, it kind of gives it a, you know what I mean?
And they're probably going
The,
back to Saudi Arabia in October, so that's another stadium show.
yeah, so it's a lot, and but it's for the people who probably couldn't make it to Mania. That's my thought process. The people who couldn't come across the pond. because they kind of announced that shit late. Because keep in mind, Mania got announced, but there was really a big iffy for due to COVID for the travel. But
Right.
you know, so by the time it probably got lifted in the UK, a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, I can't go," or they already had their visas and they were going, or they didn't have the money to go. So it works out for them. And I know a lot of those cats in the UK. I'm so happy for them. So if anybody deserves it, they do.
Now, you know, story-wise, we're probably going to get a Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Rich Holland, Butch, all on the show, considering that they're all UK wrestlers, even though the only one that's actually from England is Dutch. Is it Butch or Dutch? It's Butch.
Look,
Butch. Um,
Pete Dunne.
yes, that guy. Um, could McIntyre versus Roman be the main event, and maybe the best case scenario of Roman taking an L?
no.
No. Hell no, that ain't
Nope.
happening. Nope. Because the thing is that Roman's so hot right now. It's almost like the problem is who's gonna beat him. Who?
See, because now
Man.
they're banking on, and I'm pretty sure that Backlash is going to the tag title match is going to be the main event. I don't think Roman's even going to wrestle or defend the title.
Like the Usos versus the.
Yeah,
Okay, bro.
yeah, because that was made official uh, for SmackDown. I mean, Roman in a throwaway match against somebody. I mean, okay, maybe.
I, the only way that could happen is if. The only way Drew could walk out of England with the title, any title, is if he wins Money in the Bank.
It's
So it's going to be interesting from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam to that show how it.
the plus the also for him to walk out of the title in England, the show would have to be in England.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
in Wales.
It's in Wales. So and if you know
Not
the
inside,
UK,
not inside
they
of Wales. And it's a country called Wales.
and the UK is like New York City. Every borough is fucking different,
Yeah,
and one don't like the other.
I mean, this would have been such a great time to bring Jonah back,
But he's New Zealand.
but Jonah in Wales, it goes
John,
together like
Yeah.
lamb and tuna fish.
Okay. Any last can,
Now,
you know,
I won't doubt. I don't doubt that they'll make it Roman McIntyre. McIntyre just won't win.
what about
yeah,
if
you.
McIntyre wins by and Roman keeps the title? Does that
I mean,
happen?
like Lex Luger, SummerSlam.
Except they're not
More,
now.
yeah.
Then no, they're not gonna have Roman take a loss like that. No,
Hey, Roman
because
already took one at Royal Rumble to Seth.
mm, yeah, okay, that's an exception, not rule. If it's a stadium show, they're probably going to want to give them something memorable. So, you know what? I I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being a non-title main event for that show, and Roman takes the L.
But I feel like that that really won't work because the thing about Roman is that beating Roman is more of a title than the title itself.
Well, the only way I see Roman losing is by someone cashing in on him. And I could totally see Money in the Bank winner cashing in Wales. Because to me, by the time Money in the Bank is over, they're already having to set up for SummerSlam. So it would be too short of a stretch to get that guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, unless that guy is Cody, who I think who is undoubtedly winning Money in the Bank.
True, but
We
what?
still have like
There's
two,
never been
3 months to
there's
Money in
never
the
been a
Bank.
cash in overseas though, so that would be like a big deal.
Yes, that is true. Uh, Considering the first time the WWE Championship actually changed hands over in England was
AJ
AJ
Search
Styles.
Styles,
AJ
right?
Styles and Jinder. Yes,
Jinder Mahal, yeah.
I also would not be surprised. Well, cons- considering he was from Manchester, I would think maybe the WWE would do some sort of. I expect them to do some sort of tournament. Um, I would even go as far as to say, Davy Boy Smith Memorial Tournament.
Hmm. Well, one thing we could probably all agree on is that Rich Holland is going to get some type of push for that show, being the only person from Wales.
Honestly, I think considering how Wales is, I don't think I don't think 59,000 people live in Wales. So I think that show is going to be anybody from the UK is going to get a fucking anybody from in the vicinity of that area.
There are 3.1 million people living in Wales.
God damn it. But I don't expect. Let me see. So percentage wise, you're thinking what 90% Wales,
Yes, 5% dolphins, 3% porpoises.
2% goldfish. That could go. Sharks fan, 200.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
I mean, there are a lot of neighboring countries that want to probably be a part of that as well. So,
Well, considering that Wales only has one neighbor,
well, I
it
mean,
it,
even,
it is Wales is technically a peninsula, so water on three sides there.
well, I mean, there's neighbors 2 doors down.
Yes, Guam.
Yeah, there you
I,
go.
I, I don't know geography anymore.
One
Yeah,
more door from three doors down.
you want?
The band. Dun, 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 but you don't know who I am.
Citizen soldier, holding the.
If you want a geography lesson, I'm sure there's a podcast out there for you. This is not that one.
No,
Um,
we're the burlesque podcast.
da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da. Okay.
Da, 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 da. I
Speak,
mean, Liverpool. I expect people from Liverpool and Birmingham and Manchester.
Someone's looking at a map.
Yes, I am. God damn it. And London, that's a train ride. Shit. Glasgow might be a bitch, but, you know.
keeping on the topic of Roman Reigns, I can't even believe we're discussing this. On the latest episode of Young Rock,
Yeah.
there was a
Oh
portion
God.
on the show where A young Roman Reigns was watching the Royal Rumble with 96
Yokozuna.
Rock, before getting into Wrestling Rock.
Well, yeah.
And Roman was like, we should wrestle sometime. And Dwayne, The Rock, whatever you want to call him, said, let's, we saved that match for WrestleMania. Leaving a lot, including myself, to speculate, was that
Well,
a teaser for next year's WrestleMania?
well,
Coleco.
consider.
No, Scooter. You can go.
Well, I just want to consider the fact that he points to the screen and says, "Acknowledge me."
Well, I'm sure that's not historically accurate.
I know, but creative liberties and whatnot, and they're also watching their cousin Yokozuna.
Correct.
Like now.
Is this a teaser? Is it a spoiler? Is the
I think
retro?
it got more people to watch Young Rock than most people would think. Because I think more people watch Young Rock now after that than anything.
Well, I mean, it's basically a documentary on how The Rock got into wrestling. Essentially, at least one portion of the show is at this point.
I, it would, I mean, until I see it happen, because everybody thought it was going to be. That was the other thing that Mania crowd was like. They were like, "Oh my God, The Rock's going to come out, and they're going to do this year-long build like they did with Cena." And I'm like, "Why the hell would they do a year-long build with some shit that is family-oriented? Because we all know Rock ain't going to be in that bitch." And yeah. So if it were to happen, I expect it to happen at the Rumble, but then again, that means people going to be okay with Roman being undefeated for a whole nother year? And that's the question. That's the $1 million question, because by literally trying to tease that, you would have to assume that Roman's going to stay in this trajectory of protection.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this: between now and then, other than what we just talked about, possibly Drew McIntyre at this UK event, who could beat him?
Who could beat him? Well, it's wrestling. Anybody could beat anybody. But but if you had to pick, uh, signs are pointing towards Cody. I from a physical standpoint, I can't see it.
Um.
I can see it from a sneaking in cash in standpoint. That's the only way I can see Roman getting beat, by getting got.
Uh. I can, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Omos.
Oh God.
Oh no!
Um. But eventually, I think it's gonna get to the point where Roman's gonna want the match more than The Rock does, and maybe we get The Rock and Roman in a non-title match at the stadium show.
Oh no! Absolutely not.
But if they do Rock and Roman before Mania at all next year, within before Mania, then assume it will be a non-title match, because then Roman will take the L. Now, what they should do is have Rock come in for just one event, beat Roman in a non-title match, and then leave for 6 months.
Let me ask you this:
And
does Roman and Rock need to be for a title? Can Roman lose the
Now,
title to somebody and just be the main event against The Rock at Mania?
but then that means that Roman would have to lose twice.
Who said
I
that
mean,
Roman was losing to The Rock?
Well, my point is, if he's losing to The Rock, that means it's 3 L's. So you have to space them, You gotta,
I
because the WWE, they're not merging the titles, right?
well, they've got it. They've got a new all gold design for one belt.
Mm, I believe it when they display it.
I'm
Oh,
with Coleco on that one. I was going to mention,
Because the problem is that they're on 2 networks. If they weren't on 2 networks, I could totally see that shit. But the fact that they're on Fox and USA, that was the problem I had with it. They're serving 2 masters, so they have to have it split, just off principle.
that was one thing I wanted to bring up. Could Drew go into that stadium against Roman and just beat him for one title rather than both? And then Roman still has the other title.
Now, this is where I say Money in the Bank is very tricky because you only have one briefcase, and usually you could only go for one title.
Right.
So that's where it's tricky because that's the only way I can see him getting got, at least for one of them, because it wouldn't make because you can't cash in for 2 championships.
very true.
Yeah, you're right about that. Or
So
if they try to sell it that way, you could always have Vince McMahon come out afterwards and say, the Money in the Bank is only for one title, and you have to give one of those up.
no, I would say if Scooter and I are right and Cody wins the Money in the Bank, I can see him walking away with the WWE Championship.
Well, that would have to be a SummerSlam, wouldn't it?
No, because it would have to be. See, that was my problem because it's like Money in the Bank is 4th of July weekend. 3 weeks right after that is fucking SummerSlam. So it's really no time to build. You see what I'm saying? They would have to build it within that unless Cody wins and cashes that night.
Mm,
Thus setting up a champ versus champ kind of rematch at SummerSlam for Cody and Roman, which would be the biggest match of his life. Then you can go on with all the other bullshit.
I think we're getting too far into the rabbit hole now, so probably should move on.
Well, it's not the rabbit hole. It's more like I'm looking at it from the timeline because it's a 3 week timeline in between, 2 to 3 week timeline between each event. So it's the build after.
Right. Hey,
So they're gonna have to book this shit hella far.
I mean, unless they're swerving us all and they're gonna actually do Roman versus the Iron Sheik.
Roman versus Ezekiel.
which Ezekiel? Jackson?
The plumber?
Ezekiel from the Bible. How about that?
Zeke the plumber. Zeke the plumber.
Wow. How much did they pay that Ezekiel?
I shall strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Alright,
Ezekiel 21:17.
now another bit of news on the AEW side. Now I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correct. Satnam Singh, who is a former basketball player, made his debut for AEW last week, which garnered a lot of negative comments. Um, Even Tony Khan said we could have did that better. I'm more of a wait and see type of guy. If he's going to be anything significant, I didn't really have a problem with his debut, But what say you, Scooter?
Um, I think my biggest question out of this is, who is this guy? I mean, did he does he have any rings?
He doesn't have Rolo's giant ring that he won.
Does he have any NBA championship rings?
How the fuck if I know?
Yeah, this is almost as bad as the supposed tag team of Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers. Um, like, great, yeah, you want to bridge the gap with like athletes and yeah, great. I think I think Tony is getting responsive to what the WWE is doing, and I think he's treading into that Vince Russo territory a little bit.
Well, again, I didn't have too much of a problem with it because it was a debut of a new superstar that had no, connections with WWE. This is a AEW original, so to speak. And we need more of those than, somebody that got laid off 2 weeks ago from WWE.
Uh, that I don't like the fact that he was simply debuted to bolster relations between AEW and broadcasting companies in India.
Isn't that why anybody hires people so you get into more countries?
Yeah, mm, that really should be second. Yeah, I mean, I know that everyone laughs at this, but yes, talent should really be first. Um, I think this whole thing is a response to Gable Steveson.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, at Mania, everyone was kind of like, "What the fuck?"
Is that like
Because it's one thing when Stephanie came out and she did her thing. Okay, we get it. But then Gable came out and we are like, "Huh?" And then the
what?
next night, the Prophets, it was like, "Huh?" So yeah.
The chance of let him speak.
Man, I didn't even give y'all the rundown. We got to go off air. I'm gonna have to give y'all the rundown of Mania, man. It was crazy.
But what are your thoughts on it, Coleco? This new guy that kind of, I heard, Great Khali-esque.
Well, to me, it's. I mean, at least it's somebody who's not WWE related, right? Like,
Right.
that's the only saving grace. At least they did that, took a chance with somebody, and we'll see where it goes from there. Um, and for him to attack a guy like Joe, which
He's Joe.
probably the most respected guy in pro wrestling right now. So it means a lot that it happened in that manner. It's just a matter of where did, like you said, wait and see where do they go from here, because that's the issue with AEW to me, is that they're too, and rightfully so, they should be relying on WWE talent, but it's at the expense of the talent that should be on the up and up.
Right. Wouldn't it
So
have been
I
better
I
if
can't criticize it.
if they would have maybe done some vignettes. That's one thing that I don't like about AEW is that um they don't when they debut somebody, it's just like, oh, this guy's here now, surprise. And like a lot of some of these guys could be beneficial if they had, some vignettes to bring them in to get people excited that they're coming in. It seems like they only go for the shock factor for that minute and not long term planning with what they do with them afterwards.
It's a gift and a curse to that, because the gift is that when they come, the reaction is so organic that it generates buzz throughout after the show. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get your point. I get your point in the sense that they should do vignettes, but prime example, Veer Mahan had vignettes for months, and it got to the point where it became a meme, and people were actually able to meet Veer before he even got in the ring, and it played to their advantage. But I don't think AEW, the reason that they have to do it that way is because it's about who they go after, right? Because if they say they have a vignette and they come in and they just do whatever, uh, it probably wouldn't sell as much by like prime example Hook, right? Hook was like the flavor of the month for like 2 months, but it was because he came in and was tossing motherfuckers like a goddamn rag doll. You see what I'm saying?
And and for a while there, he wasn't doing anything. He was just looking, ominously.
Right. So it's the more of the try to generate the intrigue of who's that guy afterwards. But I mean, hell, that's how. I mean, hell. Prime example when Danhausen came in that bitch, I didn't know, but I met Danhausen, so now I get it. I get it, Matt. Scooter, I get it. There you
Yeah.
go.
Very nice, very evil.
Yeah,
Um,
Billy,
Going back to WWE, there's reports that a lot of people will be getting their names cut soon. Literally, Austin Theory is now just Theory. Raquel Gonzalez is Raquel Rodriguez. Walter is Gonto, as we said before. And they said that more is coming because they don't want people using their real names or names that they used on the indies. And yet people still chant Walter at Gunter on SmackDown. Um, your thoughts on this, Scooter?
well, just wait, because we all know that Chad Gable is soon going to be just Chad,
Yeah.
uh, even though Chad Gable is his in-ring name.
I mean, he
He,
could be
he,
hanging Chad.
yeah, according to some of the locker room, he is hung.
More information than we needed to.
Thank you.
Shoes.
Sheesh. Um, uh, like, people, one name does not a wrestler make, especially when, like, the names are actual, like, nouns.
I just hope that we get somewhere down the line, we get a tag team, Riddle and Theory.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Riddle and Theory. I mean, if Stone Cold, wants to, start mentoring Theory, I guess we can get Austin Theory back.
Or Stone Cold Theory. So let's just pray for AJ Styles, because Jesus Christ. I feel like his name is going to be the only one that stays.
Styles, Theory, Riddle. I mean, we could have the Row,
So what about Ricochet?
Rico,
Oh God,
I mean, they
no.
could call him
or
Shay.
or
Shay.
um, or no. What I suggested all the way back when is you make him Irish and you make him Rick O'Shea.
But then that's two names, and they try and save it to just one.
You know why they doing that shit, right?
It isn't light enough.
Because to me, I think it's not more of that than more so that they want people to recognize their talent with one name.
But I
I,
mean, the
I,
biggest, most grossing superstar of all time was Stone Cold Steve Austin. The man
but
had
that's
four
that,
names.
no shit. But they're not gonna like prime example, right? Kevin Owens is not gonna be Owens, right? Sasha Banks is not gonna be Sasha. Like
Well,
Charlotte Flair, they just say Charlotte, right?
well, she
They
used to
actually,
be just Charlotte,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
they added the Flair,
and
so
then they took it away, and then they gave it
brought
back.
it back exactly. Or Sasha Banks, like they're
I
not
mean,
gonna take away Sasha Banks
Lashley was Lashley, and then they gave him his first name back.
back, and then they went, you know. So
Yeah, Elias had a last name.
even
he
Rusev had a
did.
first name.
Yes,
He did have a yeah.
Alex.
I remember Rusev was Alexander Rusev.
Right. I mean, they could change Naomi's name to just Nye.
I mean, or they could put
No.
it. They could spell it backwards and just make her Imone.
Oh no. Banks I moan Banks.
Uh, I mean, pretty soon they're gonna be called the Usos just Us.
I mean, it might as well. I mean,
But
just UCE.
then the people
Oos.
would add it in when anytime they said "oos," they would say "oh" because
But
they'll
that's always been there.
yeah, they're programmed.
I mean, if Roman loses his last name, I'm gonna lobby for Christian to come back so we can get Roman versus Christian. I mean, the religion writes itself.
The Crusades all over again.
Yeah, I mean just last week we were booking Damian Priest versus the Pope D'Angelo De Niro, so just Priest versus Pope, and you're good to go.
I mean, he did Priest versus Demon. I mean, Jesus.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
they haven't brought Jesus back, or as Jesus says he was called back in
Yeah,
2002.
it would be Jesus. Yes, and it is Easter. So pour 40 out for Jesus. He died, but we know he come back 3 days later. But pour that 40 out for the morning.
or,
Dad.
or maybe Maui can pull a reverse Jesus and trap Moana in the cave.
Alright, I think we covered enough of the name changes. Pat Buck, we talked about him last week. Resigning from WWE really right after he produced for.
He didn't resign. He was let go. He was fired.
Resign, let go, however you want to say it.
Mm,
He's
mm,
already working for AEW. Is this a good fit for AEW? Does it make sense? Or is it just kind of wasted?
it is wasted.
Wrestling companies gonna wrestling companies. Next.
I mean, yes, Pat has more of an association with a lot of the guys on the roster. Um, who knows? Maybe next week on Dynamite you'll be seeing me.
Ooh.
As long as it's not Joe Buck, I'm fine.
I mean, you'll see me. I'll be selling cotton candy, but you'll still see me.
You'll be selling it to John Silver because Johnny has a
I,
gun.
I mean, if they really do anything, they I'm assuming they're gonna put if they want him on camera. Clearly, the thing to do is put Pat Buck
With the
with
young
the young
bucks.
or the not so young Bucks.
When do we change them to like midlife crisis bucks?
And I think they're already there.
The mid bucks?
I mean, their hairlines are already there.
What about senior bucks? Senior bucks. Hey.
They could be big bucks, and they could have a finisher move called the no whammies.
Or maybe it should be called Blockbuster Video. Something like that. I don't know.
Or they could play Press Your Buck.
Oh, pressure bug. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Stop. James, let's wait for your time. Let us have it. Let us have this moment. No whammies, no whammies.
Alright. Raw, well, it's been reported, that a list of the top baby faces and heels for Raw has been, revealed. Um, the top baby faces for Raw on the women's side is Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. The heels are Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Zelina Vega. Obviously Bianca is right. But what are they doing with Alexa Bliss? Because we haven't seen her since February, no?
Well, she got married.
Yeah, she got married. That's why.
Oh, well, I understand it.
She's off the market now, but yeah, she was too busy getting ready to get married. But I think it's more like how she's going to come back. Because I think she would be. Because at this point, Bianca got nobody to really work with, so I could see her coming back after like the Becky rematch,
But she's not.
or Bailey, or
But but they're saying that Alexa Bliss is a face, not a heel. So that means that she
what?
won't be feuding with Bianca.
But this is WWE. You don't think they don't do face versus faces, and you don't think Bianca's gonna be that? Because Bianca is a face in the sense of a fighting champion face, right? Even whoever she's gonna fight, even if it's a face, it's all for proving the fact that she's the best overall, no matter who it is.
Fair enough.
The Becky line was just like Black Twitter being pissed that she got done wrong. But they did it right with that entrance. I ain't even gonna lie. That fucking college band, whoo! Hell, my mom was even bopping. I was like, God damn, you didn't even watch wrestling. Shit.
Alright, what about Rhea Ripley is considered one of the top three faces, even though it doesn't seem like they're doing anything with her. And it seems like she's turning heel soon.
Well, she can't turn heel because she just got betrayed, right?
And now
Mm,
she's gonna betray Liv, right? That's what I
mm,
would kind of assume.
Nah, because Liv just kind of ran through Sasha. Liv beat Sasha a week ago, so you would think that would be a tag match in line, right?
She is,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
mean,
it's gonna be
they're teasing a split,
um next week on Monday. They're getting their tag title match.
right?
I just feel bad for Rhea in the sense that the direction that they're putting her in is not in the direction of who she is.
Right. I feel like a heel, you know, fits her personality a lot better than, the smiling baby face that kisses babies.
Honestly, I don't want her face or heel. I just want her to be a bitch that wants to do whatever she wants.
I think that's what everybody wants.
Because her her demeanor is more of a I don't give a fuck what you think of me type. That's the vibe that her look is, right?
Right. But
So
it's
why
not
wouldn't
how
they
she's
give her
presented.
that vibe as a character?
Right.
Because in essence, that's what it is.
I just want her to wear a skirt again.
Good luck with that.
Um, Becky is the top heel. No surprise there. And then
Is
Carmella.
she though? Is she though?
She's the face of
Is
the
she?
company. So yeah.
She's the top heel by design, not the top. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the only reason they were cheering for Bianca because the Bianca got wronged, but there was motherfuckers there cheering for Becky. I told you it's a cult like following with that girl.
Oh yeah.
Well, Becky is the top heel who doesn't have nip slips.
Thank God for that.
Yep. But
Same with Charlotte.
Carmella and Selena Vega. It doesn't really seem like they're top, but that's what these reports are saying that
According to Corey Graves, Carmella is definitely a top, and he is a power bottom.
I feel like we already knew that.
I don't know, Corey man. He from Pittsburgh. He don't take that shit. Steel
And,
City in the house.
but Pittsburgh sucks. I'm sorry, it's a terrible town.
I agree. And what's your thoughts on Alabama, Coleco?
Well, fuck Bama, cause UGA the champs, baby.
On the men's side, Bobby Lashley is number one, Cody Rhodes is number two, and AJ Styles is number three. Um, I believe I don't remember where I said this, but Bobby Lashley has really came into his own as a character, and this is the strongest he's ever looked in his career. But that being said, it doesn't seem like there's any title opportunities in his future anytime soon. So why is he the main babyface when he's not when there's no titles in the picture?
Because I can see if there was one person who could legitly beat Roman, it would be Bobby. And honestly, it like fit from a physical standpoint. And secondly, this isn't Bobby's best run. That TNA run where he was like holding every goddamn belt in that bitch, that was his best run.
But
But
if you don't watch Impact Wrestling in the woods, does anybody see it?
I mean, I saw it. So fuck what you talking about?
I mean, where would you get reception in the woods?
You build your reception like Bear Grylls, damn it.
This isn't mud, sweat, and beards.
But I get your point. But he could say that he didn't get his rematch because he technically didn't, and which kind of threw me off with Brock winning the Rumble. I was just like, that's a whole nother tangent for
That's
another
another
day. But
controversy for another time.
yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But Brock. So the next challenger for Roman has to be Drew or Brock, or Drew or Bobby, and it seems like it's going to be more Drew because Bobby's kind of busy with Omos and MVP.
Right. But
Well,
what we say about Cody Rhodes, now renamed Robbie, that he's only been there for 3 weeks and they already see him as a top guy.
Well, the way he came in at Mania tells you everything you need to know. Um, to me, he's going to be. Right now, they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win Money in the Bank. It's a fucking problem because the thing is that he's gonna be so busy with Seth and KO and trying to be the guy because the storyline for him is he's the guy that just got back. It's a whole different world from what he left, but he's a different person than the person he was there with. So that's a good story for him to show that he's improved and he's a whole different person. He's not that guy that left 6 years ago and arc his way to the title. I think the only way he could arc his way to the title though is by winning Money in the Bank because Roman at this point doesn't even see him on the radar.
Right.
So the only way you can see him on the radar is by Money in the Bank.
What say you, Scooter?
I mean, I think the build is it's gonna be a very slow burn. And Roman isn't gonna see it coming. Roman, if he does see it, he's gonna laugh and be like, "Wait, this scrawny kid." And then when all of a sudden he gets a friggin' Cody cutter, and Cody ends up gassing him after 3 minutes.
What about AJ Styles? Does it surprise you that he's on this list of the top 3 baby faces?
Yeah, it does not. It shouldn't, because shit. Literally everyone over at Mania was more excited. I'll put it this way: the top things that they were excited about, and I'm pissed I didn't get to do this last week. But the top things that they were excited about was Cody coming back and AJ versus Edge, and the reason that they were more excited. And this is where WWE has a problem with storytelling because they were more excited about how the match could be than the actual storyline. And so that tells you that they respect AJ as a wrestler and his body of work. I think he's a babyface just because of the body of work more so than any story. Because it's not like he's a mic guy and he doesn't captivate you with what he says. He captivates you when the bell rings. And that is, I mean, that's why he's the face that runs the place.
And this is the house that he built.
I'm surprised Johnny Knoxville and Wee Man are not on that list.
Bro, that match was fucking fun. Ah, god damn it. I'm so pissed I missed last week. I had so much to say.
Alright, and the top heel from Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Edge, with a small Damian Priest. No surprise here.
Is Seth really a heel?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Really? Because that motherfucker came out to acquire.
Yeah. Yeah, well, everybody was like,
and everybody was on his. It was like, yo, but I see him more as a tweener.
I see him more as a tweaker.
You want another one or are you good?
I mean, cause
Yeah, because
he's tweaking, man. He's on something.
Becky's got him fiending. That's what it is.
But basically, that's the list of every top heel in the company.
I mean, is Roman the top heel?
Be number 1 on SmackDown, even though he's world champion.
Well, when was this survey goddamn taken? How about that?
It's not a survey. It's internally inside WWE who they feel are the top faces and heels for WWE.
So in other words, this list don't mean shit.
I feel it means more than if there was a survey.
Then again, they wouldn't do a survey like that.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would. It's redundant. Because why wouldn't they put Roman there when he's the champ?
That would be for SmackDown.
But he's got both championships, so he's technically also Raw. So this was clearly done before WrestleMania.
I wish they would
Not,
have
I
something before
mean,
this.
Edge being a top heel when he just turned heel, that's like weird.
It's because he lost the song and people really like the song. People still love him though. They're literally trying to we are sheep and we are losers. Poor Edge.
Yeah.
Well, big fat failure turtles all around.
And there is speculation that there will be more releases soon for WWE.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
which kind of sucks considering as we record this, it's Easter weekend, and they're thinking about people to cut.
Like, we just cut Coleco. No, never mind.
Oh, fire that guy. We got what we needed out of him. Alright, Kaliko, I decided to refire you. You can come back.
Like, I can't believe that. I honestly, I'll believe it when it happens. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe that more releases are coming.
Yeah, I don't see it because that roster's thin as shit already.
Right.
What the fuck they gonna do? Cut the motherfuckers who make the ring? Like,
I mean, they literally had to bring in half of the women to a Royal Rumble this year was people that weren't in WWE.
I mean, literally half of the goddamn matches at Mania was fucking celebrity. Celebrities and motherfuckers that came back from fucking out of nowhere, like Austin.
Yeah, pretty soon they're going to switch from professional wrestling to thumb wrestling.
Mm.
But I will say that's a. I'm gonna say this one thing. As much as it's gonna pay me, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it because now they have the formula. They now have their perfect formula for a WrestleMania.
Mm. Alright. And last bit of news. Later today, New Japan will be doing Windy City Riot, main evented by Will Osprey wrestling John Moxley. This is the first major event Moxley has taken part of on the New Japan brand. Um, who wins, and can we see John Moxley more involved in New Japan events after this? Is this kind of his coming back song?
Hmm, that's a good question. And the only reason I say that's a good question is because they're doing, considering that now ROH is part of it, I, it's part of AEW, and they've kind of been working with New Japan, and they're. The problem is that door is so mixed, you don't know who the fuck's coming in and out. Like, Minoru Suzuki just fought Samoa Joe. Who would have thought that would have fucking happened in 2022?
Right.
Because that is not on the bingo card. Honestly, Mox, man, I think Mox is just a guy who just wants to wrestle and don't really want to deal with the bullshit. So if New Japan doesn't give him bullshit, I think he'll keep wrestling with New Japan and whoever the hell else will take him. But at the moment he gets that politics shit, I feel like as soon as he gets a feel of that politics shit, he's out. And that's with any company because you've seen him wrestle like mini shows, so it's not like he's above anything. I think he's just about having a good time and doing what's best for him and the business. With that being said, Osprey's winning this fucking match. Because it makes fucking sense. He has to be the next challenger, right? Like,
No,
fuck
the
next.
next challenger is Naito. Osprey
Bro,
is going for the United States Championship.
bro, you know this. I put it this way. I don't see a surprise of him springboarding that unless they're really trying to push that U.S. title. But you can't even tell me who's the U.S. champion.
Nobody. Sonata relinquished it.
That's my point. Eh, so unless they're really going heavy with the U.S. title, if it was for the U.S. title, I could see your point. Which should have been Kenta, but that's a whole goddamn nut. See, that's a whole nother tangent I'll go with. But
Same question, Scooter. Who wins? Does this project Moxley back into a New Japan feud?
Nope, not at all. Given what they're doing with the Blackpool Combat Club, no.
Well, I mean, this card, this Windy City Riot, is heavy on AEW and Impact Wrestling. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we got a Daniel Bryan, John Moxley tag team in a New Japan ring. I mean, Wheeler Yuta's on this card as well.
Mm.
yeah, but keep in mind, New Japan's trying to play footsie and try not to step on nobody's toes while trying to do their own thing.
Which it kind of didn't do them well. Because they used to be their own thing and they kind of let everybody do their thing and kind of look out inside of the ring. And
But
then the whole
that was
pandemic
when they had
happened.
that was when they had Omega and the Bucks and Cody. That was when the roster was stacked. That roster is not as stacked. So
I mean, I feel like they still had that mentality even when Jay White took Omega's place. It kind of feels like the pandemic really rocked them, and they're still kind of feeling those effects because, uh, in case you're wondering, the pandemic is still going on, especially in Japan.
true, I get that part, but keep in mind when they ever came, like every time that they came to the U.S., it was like either Texas or like California. It wasn't like because California is a heavy Asian market, so it kind of makes sense that they would do their own thing there because they got motherfuckers who are gonna be there that watch it religiously anyway. It's a whole totally different animal to go to Chicago and D.C. and fucking on the East Coast because the East Coast is not their thing. Granted, there's a market there, but it's I see New Japan. New Japan would be the type of people that would go in and try to ingratiate themselves more so than do their own thing into a territory that's unknown. Because hell, they did it in Texas. That's why Moxley wasn't there.
I, I know. I think that will conclude the news and this episode of Wrestling Lit. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this is sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Use promo code Wrestling with E for 10% off your next purchase. For Player One Coffee, simply click the link below for some percentages off. The only way to support us is to support our sponsors. Um, Join us this Wednesday as we interview Devlin Macabre. And follow us on social media at Wrestling with E, both on Twitter and Instagram, for all things wrestling entertainment, news, happenings, latest interviews, window dropping, and whatnot. You can follow us individually as well. I am at James Shane993. Where can we find Coleco?
I'm gonna start this photo dump at I am Coleco because oh my goodness, I'm about to show y'all these shirts that I got. And they are so fucking. It's the Wale collection, homie. I might put these bitches on eBay. No, I'm just fucking off. But yeah, I and Coleco. Time for the WrestleMania photo dump. So it's awesome.
And where can they find Scooter Dust?
I'm gonna start this real dump on the toilet. You can find me on Twitter at Scooter Dust. And of course, the remix now on YouTube as James and I bring you the first only live streaming alternate commentary premium audio experience or some bullshit like that. And of course, revel in all my Twitch antics. Just go to my Twitch page, twitch.tv/Scooter Dust to find which channels I will be a part of this week.
Alright, for Coleco Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
I suck dick for shoes!
I didn't get your shoes. I did.